Hello, everyone. Welcome to DT Daily, our daily show here from Digital Trends, live 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, every day, bringing you the latest in tech headlines. We've got interviews. We've got everything that you're going to need to get your day going right. And today, just to give you kind of a rundown of who we're going to be talking to, we're going to have Tim Walbridge from 503 Motoring, who's going to be hopping on to talk about a brand new series from Digital Trends called Behind the Wheel. We've got him to discuss that, and plus his favorite cars that he's been driving lately, all kinds of stuff to cover in it. And we do have a special segment from New York. We'll be going to our New York studio later on today. But here in studio right now, I'm Greg Nibbler, and joining me is Mr. Dan Gall. Hello, Dan.
Hello, Greg.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I just keep laughing because we've been laughing excessively off the air right now. But Dan, in front of you, before we get into our regular news headline segment, and we're going to do our Read 'em and Weep segment, everything that we do, we need to explain this beast that's sitting in front of you.
Yes, this is the Boring Company's Not a Flamethrower.
So if you've been seeing the videos of Digital Trends, like I know the one of Drew sitting there almost laughing maniacally with the flame coming out is one of the images we've been using for Digital Trends, but this is the actual one Elon Musk's company put out.
Yeah, I didn't mean to point it at you right there.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Almost did a Michael Jackson.
I better not screw up today.
Yeah.
So the way it works is you just put like a propane canister. This is my first time actually seeing it in person. So it's just a propane canister. How far does it actually shoot? I mean, I know it's not a flamethrower.
You can control the flame with this little dial right here,
Okay.
and I think it'll go up to like maybe 4 feet. Kind of like, are you familiar with like the torches that you can just connect to?
Yeah.
Like directly up to a propane tank. It's like that.
Okay.
Yeah. You have the ignition switch here, which lights it kind of like a barbecue, right?
Okay. So
and then the trigger here, which will just
like,
give it more gas.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
It looks cool too. It's like Stormtrooper. And technically,
It is. It does kind of look like a stormtrooper.
you'll feel like a Stormtrooper because you can't be accurate with it that much, right?
It's just more of a spray and hope kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, if it's windy, it could blow it back at you maybe.
Yeah.
I don't
well,
know.
you know, but it still looks cool. That's the only part. That's the most important part of it.
I love it. And I ordered it the day that they announced it, and I was super stoked on getting it. And then I just kept getting email notifications about pickup day in San Francisco. And I'm like, I live in Oregon. There's no way
This isn't gonna work.
I'm driving to San Francisco, or, to pick this up, because
to pick
I'm
up your
sure they're not going to
flamethrower.
let you on a plane with it.
No. Yeah. No, it says it's not a flamethrower.
Not a plane. Like after like my fourth notice, I emailed back, when are you going to ship it out? Because I can't get down there, right?
I'm not going to show up. Well, it's awesome. So this is the boring flamethrower right here. If you have questions about it, drop those into the chat. All right, we do need to talk about some of the news. So let's do our leading news segment, which I did want to bring up because today is Tuesday, November 6th. It's voting day. If you have not voted yet, it's time to vote. This isn't a political statement. This isn't anything like that. I'm just saying, get out there and vote and exercise that right. And there are some technology aspects that are actually helping you figure out where your polling places are. And this has to do with a story coming up from Amazon about Alexa. So if you have Alexa, I probably just set it off right now. But Alexa can help you know where to go vote. So they've teamed up with, Ballotpedia, I guess, for part of it, so you can find out when the polls are open, what's on your ballot, what does it mean, like they'll actually explain the measures to you, which I think is a really, really cool thing, a really cool use of technology.
I love that, although finding out about it today might be a little bit late, but
yeah,
I think it's great because of hearing all the issues out at polling areas and just in general, people don't know for example, where do I drop off my ballot, right? It's super useful.
Yeah.
More people to vote, the better.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's got that. You can do election results. So even after voting, if you're on the go and you want to find out what the results were, they'll explain everything. So it's a cool thing. So just want to remind everybody, get out there and vote. Alexa can, if that's what it takes to help you vote, then do it. You still have time, probably, wherever you are. So yeah, get out there and do that. That's what we want to bring up at the top. We've got lots of other news headlines, though, to talk about. Before we do that, we do have our segment of Read 'em and Weep.
All right.
Now, Dan, are you familiar with Read 'em and Weep?
I am, yeah.
I
brought lots of tears.
So this is the segment where we go through and take a look at all of the comments that we've received over the last 24 hours or so, or sometimes a little bit longer than that. Some of them are great, some of them aren't, but we want to remind you all that we do read the comments. We do listen to what people say. We may not agree with you, with everything that you post, but we will read it. So let's go through here. We've got our first one. I don't even know how to say this name. Grouch2?
Gourouch.
Gourouch. Gourouch2, referring to a Fujifilm GFX 50s review. The response is just, stop drinking and smoking and enjoy taking pictures with the GFX. 3 exclamation points. I am no dentist, but yes, I do take lens-based shots or whatever I feel like during the weekend. Out of context, I have no idea what they're referring to in this. Was our reviewer drinking and smoking during the review? I kind of doubt it.
I feel like he's saying, like, hey, on the weekend,
Oh.
instead of drinking and smoking, although you could smoke and drink any day of the week.
That's true. That's
like,
true.
just stop and go take amazing photos.
Oh.
But where's the dentist come into all this?
I don't know how the dentist and the land-based shots match up, but Grouch 2, thank you for the comment.
I'm glad he has the freedom to take photos of whatever he likes, not just landscape.
That's true. Good for you.
Yes.
Good for you.
I encourage him.
And, go back to dentistry school. Maybe that was something that he was sad he's not a dentist. I don't know. All right, let's go on to the next one we've got. This is Dustin Oliver regarding the Blizzard co-founder saying, we have not forgotten Diablo fans. I know this is a big story because I've seen so many people who are upset about the Diablo mobile game that came out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people pretty ticked off about it. And this comment from Dustin says, I think it's too little too late. They kind of fudged the bucket by making, interesting terminology.
I've never heard that.
I haven't either.
It's a new one.
Yeah, they fudged the bucket by making this one a reskinned mobile game, and everyone knows it was all for the microtransactions. Well,
I don't know. I feel like the history of Diablo has
Yeah.
always been a history of disappointment, mainly for the wait times. So, like, when they first announced Diablo, it was like
Yeah.
years, right, before it got released.
Oh, yeah.
And then every release since then has always been, like, super high anticepation. And then you just kind of forget about it because you never know
it's
when
just
gonna
forgotten.
come out. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, Diablo, I remember that. Well,
I feel like this is the same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody having huge expectations and then disappointment. And it just is along the lines of the Diablo announcements, I feel like.
it's Diablo.
I love Diablo. I've been waiting for an update.
Yeah.
I think it's actually cool to be able to play it on the Switch.
Yeah, that because we did play it on the Switch on here a few days ago, and yeah, that was actually pretty fun.
You
to
were
be able
like-
to take it on the go.
You ever like that commercial, remember, where he won the Halo or whatever, and he's just
yeah,
like
I know.
doing the
Bouncing up and down.
squat? That's what you were doing through the
Oh, I don't even
podcast.
want to go back and watch that. It was exciting, but then I kept dying, and I was getting annoyed.
Shooting your partner.
Yeah, I did kind of do that. Sorry, Matt. So that was from Dustin talking about that one. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next.
You know what? What game is not about microtransactions now, though?
It's a good point.
I mean, they're all about microtransactions. One, it helps with the longevity of the game, right?
Yeah.
Being able to introduce new levels, new characters, new items.
Yeah, I was gonna say even like DLC stuff. Buy a brand new map or something like that. I mean, I don't know if that counts as a microtransaction.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I get it though. Like when you release the same game on just a new platform years later.
Right.
Right, and you're like, all right, like this kind of sucks.
Here it is,
Yeah,
and then and then you got to pay a little extra now for
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are not happy about that. You can read about that at digitaltrends.com too. There's a big write up about it and just talking about reactions to that new Diablo game. All right, here's another question or another comment from I am not a meme at not the meme to emphasize that regarding Digital Trends and Kim Dog. This tiny house's toilet burns your poo. I did read this story. It's about an incinerator, a waste incinerator for your house. And this person said it's better to use that head to warm the house. Better use that head to warm the house. Okay, the heat.
Yeah.
Better use that heat to warm the house.
Yeah.
Taking a blank in a $55,000 tiny house ain't cheap. Yeah.
I mean, do you really want to warm your house with that though?
I don't know. I didn't pay the heat bill this month, but don't worry. Just come on over, everybody.
It's
Come to my
like
house.
the worst scent thing for your house you could probably use, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's a combo.
It's not like
combo.
that fresh smell of cedar or wood, that you're burning.
It's a twofer.
Burning in your oven, yeah.
And, you know what? A $55,000 tiny house is pretty cheap for a house.
It is. That's
Especially
not bad.
coming with kind of like your own not a flamethrower toilet, right? Like, I think it's cool.
Supply it yourself. There's so many jokes that I'm not going to make right now, but yeah. There's duly noted, or whoever, let's see, that was I am not a meme.
Plus, he's like a double negative there, so that means he is a meme.
That's
I'm
true.
not a meme. I'm not a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Busted.
Yes.
Busted right now.
Saw right through you.
Call, getcha. All right, the next one is from Naresh Sahu regarding the best 4K televisions of 2018. This is my go-to channel for TVs. Awesome. That's, I think, probably it's a video with Mr. Caleb Dennison, I'm going to guess.
Yeah,
talking about that.
Yeah.
He is, he knows his televisions, and I will say this, I've annoyed him with questions on my own, even though he's got articles on him. Be like, Caleb, which one of these should I get? Like, which one is this?
When you have that resource.
I mean, he's right there.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah,
Yeah.
so I've annoyed him. Yes, he is.
Naresh, thank you. You brought me tears of happiness instead of tears of sadness.
Look what
I
you
appreciate it.
Look what you've done today, Naresh. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, next one. We've got two more here that we're going to cover. This is Tom Jackson. I did see this one before we went on air, and it did make me laugh. It's regarding HBO's Deadwood movie beginning production, which if you're a fan of Deadwood, I mean, this is really exciting. They've been talking about this movie forever. But the comment was, I thought they ran out of cuss words, and that was why the series ended. Yeah. You will learn new ways to use profanity watching Deadwood. It is pretty amazing in that aspect.
Yeah, that series was amazing. Actually, when I saw that story, I was like, how are they? It's been a while.
Yeah.
Right? So they've aged.
Oh, it's been like 15 years, probably.
Yeah. So how do they kind of jump back into that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's gonna be interesting. I love the run out of cuss words in my head. The imagery of that is like they're filming. They said the last one, and they're like, well, where do we go from here?
Well, that's it.
Like we're out of material.
Yeah.
See you later.
They've got a checkbox like, yeah, that's the last one, guys. Sorry.
We didn't see it coming.
We're done. All right, so there's that one. We have one more comment. This comes from, let's see, Charles Whipple, talking about Starman is a long way from home, now beyond Mars, which is, of course, Elon Musk's Tesla that's out there with the Starman mannequin. And it is, I think it's heading to the asteroid belt right now. And let's see, Senior Musk just showed the world how to hide a dead body in plain sight, or at least that's how I viewed this stunt. Solid.
Yeah.
Solid comment.
Really, it's a super expensive way.
Yeah.
To do that.
Well, he's mocking everyone. Is what he's doing.
He doesn't even need to hide it anymore. He can open the bay doors and let them free.
I like that. I mean, I hate the idea, but I mean, you know.
Don't give him any more ideas.
Yeah,
he doesn't need it anymore.
He's on Twitter right now, like, ooh, new idea.
And especially if he's going to give this one away for free, right? Like,
yeah.
It's kind of like the Hyperloop, right? Like,
yeah.
I'll build the tunnels. Everybody else figure out the trains, right? Like,
you do the rest.
I'll build the spaceships. Everybody else worry about the dead bodies.
You figure out the bodies. but for only $29.99, you can use this.
Whatever cargo you want to put in our cargo hold.
Yeah, just drop it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't look.
No
All right.
questions.
All right, there we go. That's our Read 'em and Weep segment. Let's go on talking about some of the other news here. Why don't we go to the World Drone Racing Championships?
Yeah.
So the World Drone Racing Championships just happened, and it was in China, Shenzhen, China, I believe is where it took place. And there's a 15-year-old Australian kid who won the championship and won a $24,000 cash prize, beat out 127 other drone racers from 34 countries. And you may have seen some of this maybe on like ESPN before, but if you haven't, it is a trip. Like, I don't understand how they even are able to do this. So they're essentially using a VR headset that gives them a first-person view through the drone, and it's their job to fly it through these obstacles, racing against other drone racers. They can't use any added on like tech aspects, as far as it can't have sensors like to tell it's too close. Like, you have to do it all by hand reaction.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Because like when I watched it, I was doing this, like just watching on TV.
Yeah, it
I
almost
can't
makes you
imagine,
dizzy sometimes.
Yeah, and then how fast it is blows my mind. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, I would be literally just crashing into walls. I don't even think I'd be going the right way. Like, I don't. It's amazing. But I do feel like too, people unfamiliar with it would probably have the same experience as me of not really knowing what the hell's going on.
Right.
It's kind of like watching esports. Like, if my wife sat down and watched esports, she wouldn't know what she's watching or know how to follow it. So I think it just takes a little bit of time probably to get used to watching it on TV. But
educating, as far as what it is and what the goal is. And
yeah, I'm like, kudos to this kid. And I love the quote, The goal was to win everything I could.
Good job for him. That is a happy stance right there too that he's got. Yeah, I mean, congratulations. It just looks so hard. Like, I mean, I love flying drones, but I can not imagine trying to go around obstacles at top speed like that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
And they do it in stadiums.
Yeah.
Where, I don't know if that one had actual people in the stadium, but the courses are so big that they have like
Right,
an outside part of the stadium and then come in through the corridors and like fly around. I don't know. It's pretty amazing to watch.
And it's a growing sport too. So it's the World Air Sports Federation is one that puts this one on, and they're hoping to grow the sport. It's definitely growing very fast. You have 127 competitors, 34 countries.
Up to 100 miles per hour.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just be afraid I'd hit somebody.
And no one's dying when they crash. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's the bonus that you get right there.
We don't need you, Elon.
No. You're gonna end up one of the bodies. We got to be careful. All right, let's go to the next topic here. And again, you could, like I said, we're live across Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So drop your comments and your questions in there. We will get to those, and I'll make sure that we snag those as we go through. We've got time, though, for maybe one more headline, maybe two, and we've got this one. It has to do with the Apple AirPod 2. So, obviously we had the big announcements from Apple last week. We got the new MacBook, we got the new iPad Pro, which is getting some pretty good reviews, the iPad Pro, but we didn't get to see the AirPods, new AirPods. And I know there was an article written at Digital Trends too, trying about how we really wanted to see some new AirPods. Well, we didn't get them, but it does look like maybe they are on the way. And what we saw were some different trademark filings from Hong Kong and Europe that came from Apple. And they have to do, there's also a picture that was released from the iOS 12 update. 9to5Mac found a picture basically hidden in the update that showcased the chargeable case, or the wireless charging case, which I know that's something that we definitely want.
It's really hard to see it on that screen.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. White on white.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think they snagged it from somewhere in the iOS. So, but some of the other things though that it looks like we might be getting are a heart monitor in there.
Biometrics. Yep.
Voice control.
Noise canceling.
Noise canceling, which would be great.
Waterproof.
Yeah, the
water resistance.
Water resistant, I think, would be a real key one, especially if you're going to use it for any kind of working out, or I mean, like us, we're here in the Northwest.
How much do you sweat, man?
A lot, like excessively. Yeah, it's a lot. Like I have ice packs underneath here just to like hide that. But I mean, it's true. For water resistance for that. But I mean, even just like walking outside in the rain. Then you don't have to worry about it.
Or dropping them. Like if you're running and have one fall out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good thing. Like what would you most look forward to in an AirPod update?
I really like the biometric feature. Actually, noise canceling too, because on a plane or something like that, it makes them more useful. But
yeah.
The biometric, I mean, everybody's been saying for a long time, the ear is the best place for doing anything like health related, for health monitor.
Yeah, but just because you can access that, I mean, because it's so thin right there, or why is
the ear canal is just a better place to measure the body versus on the wrist. And actually, our own Jeremy Kaplan moderated a panel at CES a couple years ago that discussed smart watches and like how to use it.
How it could help out in that aspect.
Yeah, when you're working out, and it was time and time again, just the ear is the best place, but it was more of how do we get it in the ear, right? Well,
yeah.
This is a perfect way to do it in the ear. It makes sense. Although I kind of like having it on my wrist now, so
that's the Apple Watch.
Yeah, this is the Apple Watch Gen 4. I really held out for a long time.
Yeah,
I'm more of a fashion guy for a watch, but just the things of like working out and having a timer on my wrist instead of having to hold my phone like doing sprints or something like that.
Yep.
That alone made it, and the walkie-talkie feature is awesome.
The one that they demonstrated where they were out like on the water and
you're
like, using
hey,
that walkie-talkie.
give me a beer.
I'm coming back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've kind of held out on the Apple Watch as well, or on really any smartwatch. I had one of the higher end Fitbits, but I don't know. I just got tired of them.
I've tried them. They would either not work well.
Yeah, and that's what I would have.
They didn't measure things well. The updates sucked. So, having, again, something in the ear will be, I think, amazing. The thing that I was telling you earlier was I think there's a disruption opportunity in the hearing aid space with these, because the hearing aid manufacturers, like I have hearing aids from damage from music when I was a kid, and they don't work that great with technology, with Bluetooth integration, et cetera. And the AirPods do. They work great. So if they can figure out a way to disrupt the hearing aid space, I think that'd make it even better.
Well, and you could really, I mean, they could take over a lot of spaces, with that, the biometrics, with the health side of it, with not just working out, but like you said, the hearing aid side. I know some people with, diabetes, like have that diagnosed through that as well. Like there's just a lot they could really do. I mean, it would actually be a really good product for people. Yeah. But we'll see where they're at on it. It's interesting that they haven't gotten there yet. I'm sure it's a lot of money, to figure that out. Like they'd probably be expensive, but it would be worth it.
Shrinking things down.
Yeah, shrinking it down.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. That's some of the rumors with the Apple AirPod 2s of where we're at with that. So something that we heard, and I'm not sure if our next guest is here yet or not. Dan, do you have time to talk about one more? Okay.
I always got time for you, Greg.
Sweet. Oh, see that? That's what we're supposed to have a close-up right there. But okay, so let's do one more story here. We do have this, and this, we were talking about Amazon. Well, I'll get to the Amazon HQ thing here in a little bit, but just as far as Amazon going with their cashierless stores, the Amazon Go stores, Walmart is working on this. And now we have a new chain of stores working on cashierless paying. It's 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven is now testing this out. If you're in the Dallas area, there's
stores, right?
Let's see, 14 stores in the Dallas area.
Yeah.
Are testing out this thing called Scan and Pay. So it allow customers to ring up whatever you're buying at 7-Eleven just with your phone, and then ostensibly, I guess, just walk right out. This seems like a terrible idea at 7-Eleven to me.
Yeah, it's totally for me too. I found it. I think I chuckled out loud when I read it.
Like, that just seems like the last place that you would think would be where they would want to try to utilize this technology.
Forcing technology where it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like, you don't need that. It's already convenient.
It's a convenience store.
I mean, like you were saying, like, how long is it? Is the wait too long?
Yeah.
At 7-Eleven.
Right. Oh God, there's like 30 people in this line and only one cashier.
I need a hot dog now. Like,
right. My Slurpee's gonna melt.
Yeah.
I can't enjoy it right now.
Yeah.
I gotta wait.
I don't see it being utilized. And maybe I'm wrong. Let us know in the comments. Maybe we have that incorrect.
Well, I love the line near the end too. They're not planning on getting rid of the cashiers.
Oh yeah. So the cashier would still be there having to watch that all.
It's not saving them money from like automation. Robots taking over.
Right. No, there's still going to be somebody there. Then they have to chase down everybody who's sitting there like, oh no, I thought it scanned.
Oh, I thought the payment went through.
Your app screwed up. It's not my fault. I'm out.
If I ate it before I left the store, do I have to pay for it?
Yeah. I just find it very interesting that 7-Eleven is going to go there. We'll see where that ends up.
They should have that actually where there's pot stores. Like when you have weed stores next to the 7-Eleven store, it's like a genius combination. Yeah. And if you don't have to interact with anybody, like you can get it all, be happy, be like.
That is a good idea.
Right?
We should cut that out of the show. I mean, you've got a business idea right there.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll keep my mouth.
Trademarked right here. All right. Well, let's see. I think we're still waiting on a couple of things to work out. Want to do one more story?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet. One more story. Let's go to this. We'll talk about Tesla, which we're going to be bringing up Tesla here in a minute. So I might as well preview this just a little bit right now. And it's a new feature that Elon Musk has talked about that he's going to be rolling out on Tesla. It's called Summon. And Summon works like this. It's basically a remote control for your Tesla. If your car has any of the auto driver features, especially like the Model 3s, this is something that you're going to be getting pretty soon, to where you would be able to essentially call your car. You can summon your car, hit a button, and it will drive to you wherever you're at.
I think that's a really cool feature.
That part's pretty cool. Yeah. Like, just imagine being in a parking lot or like a big parking structure. Like, I don't remember what floor.
Yeah. But they could spawn a whole level of different things like summon contests. How complicated could it be?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm going to make a maze. It's going to be like drone racing, but without actually controlling it, right?
See how much, throw obstacles at it and see what it can do.
Yeah,
I mean,
amazing.
The other problem is it's this could go wrong in a lot of ways.
Yes.
So you would be using it either from it's some kind of an update that's rolling out. They did talk about how there's a phone app where essentially you could turn it into a big RC car.
It just sounds like a nightmare.
It sounds
the
like a
worst
bad idea
ever, right?
You're just gonna have people. There's a video that was posted, and we'll be talking about this more here on the show as well. But there was a video posted of this guy who already has the feature, and he's at his office about 3 stories up, and he's looking down, and he needed to move his car because his parking was expiring.
Yeah.
It was like a 5-hour limit spot or something like that, and he just backed his car up into the spot before it.
I mean, that's genius.
Yeah.
How often are you going to have that opportunity to do that right there?
True.
But it's like, it saves the employer and employee time. They don't
Yeah.
have to go outside. They don't have to worry about weather.
No,
But-
just sit there.
I think like having the RC functionality is just like you could be like running over people.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure there's gonna be sensors, and then you're like, why won't it go?
Right.
Like go.
Like, what if your buddy gets a hold of your phone or something? You know, It's just like, oh,
yeah.
what's this?
Let's hide his car. Let's drive it down into the
Steve went
water.
to the bathroom, grab his phone.
Yeah. Put it on the dock.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that. That's,
Yeah, I just think that's. I don't see how that could actually be legal. And,
yeah,
and then
I
the
don't
whole drinking and driving part. Remember? We're
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Does that mean you're drunk driving if you're doing that? Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't touch the keys.
you know what you could do? You could drive it to 7-Eleven remotely.
with your
I'm really
cashierless
hungry.
checkout.
Just like have like some way to tell the cashier, like, hey,
hey,
can you
bud.
just put it in my car.
There's some beer in there. All right. Yes, I like this idea. See, we fixed all of this technology
Oh,
now.
with great ideas.
All right, well, Dan, thank you so much for hopping on today.
Yeah, thanks for having
This
me.
is
It was
awesome.
fun.
DT Daily, thank you everybody for watching too. We have something special that's coming up here in just a little bit. I just received word. Can I confirm this? Holy crap. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Walbridge going to be hopping in here in just a minute.
Yes, I love you, Tim.
But also, we're going to be joined by John Oates. Yes, Hall & Oates, John Oates, is going to be hopping on live with us here on DT Daily to talk about the new digital trends series that we're launching, Behind the Wheel. He's going to talk about his new Porsche. I mean, it's John Oates, people. Spread the word right now. Start telling all your friends. Hop in here. If you have John Oates questions, drop them in. I will try to get those through the show, but we're going to be taking a quick break here.
Or Porsche questions.
Porsche questions,
Car questions.
Drop in those
Yeah.
car questions because we're gonna have 2 experts on here to talk about that. So let us know your questions. Spread the word on social media to hop in here live. Right now, we are live, just like we are every day. John Oates is gonna be hopping on the show here in just a minute, along with Tim. We'll be back with more DT Daily right after this.
I'm going to be watching.
Welcome back to DT Daily. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today, wherever and however you are watching us. We really do appreciate it. We're live on Periscope, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitch, and we're live on Facebook, so you can comment. Leave your comments, your questions, whatever it is that you want to talk about. We will get to those today as we go through this show. And we're going to be joined by a special guest here in just a minute. But before we get there, we've got a special guest right here.
Like, wait a minute.
It is Tim Walbridge. No, I was trying to build you up even bigger. Like there's a whole building thing I was working on.
It's a special
I
guest.
a special guest.
Special guest.
Tim Walbridge from 503 Motoring. Tim, thank you so much for hopping in
You're
here.
welcome. Thanks for having me on.
If you are a fan of digital trends, you have probably seen Tim's face on a number of different videos that we've had. A lot of them driving with celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
had a few.
Yeah. I've had a few now.
You've had a few now.
I think today's the day now.
Today is the day.
Right.
Well, let's talk about this. So just for anybody who doesn't know, why don't we just talk about your company really quick, just what you do.
I own 503 Motoring here in Portland. We are a local aesthetic tuner. Started in 2001, and we are about 14 employees strong, based out of Beaverton, Oregon, which is just outside Portland. And we specialize in newer, higher-end cars, a lot of luxury exotic kind of stuff, wheels, tires, aesthetic upgrades. And then a few years ago, we also opened a brokerage of sorts too, as well.
Nice.
So that's kind of how it got us involved with you guys.
Yeah,
as well.
then that's how it ended up happening. And what we wanted to talk about too is we have a brand new series here from Digital Trends that has just launched. I think the episodes actually just went up
This
I believe.
morning.
Yeah,
This morning. Yeah.
Because I checked
Yeah.
and it was like uploaded 20 minutes ago. I'm like, okay, so this is brand new.
Yep.
So it's a brand new series here from Digital Trends. And why don't we talk about, just give everybody kind of a rundown of what the series is.
So the series is called Behind the Wheel, and it's simply it's me, a car, and a co-pilot basically, and sometimes a pilot, and we just cruise around talking about stuff, and it's really been interesting because the original concept was much more involved than it has become now. It's very simple. It's just two humans interacting with this amazing machine, and hopefully you get some data points about the car. But what I've enjoyed about it is learning about these co-pilots and their passion for cars, their passion for music. So if you watch the episodes, you'll see some are funny, some are kind of touch on some serious topics, and it's different. I enjoy it.
Like we have some of the ones that like Marshawn Lynch. That was
that was
from a couple of was that last year?
That was
2
last
years
year,
ago,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
The video of Marshawn driving around with you guys was hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so funny. And so, like, for these cars, are you picking these cars, or how do you decide which cars that you use?
So a few of the episodes we kind of already had in our head of what cars we wanted to use and kind of what we kind of how we wanted to transpire. And then a couple of them, the co-host actually was like, I want that.
That's what I want,
in.
right?
And so we've actually come down the last couple episodes where we just kind of walk into our showroom and they're like, that one.
That's the one.
And then we just go.
So they just pick it there on the spot.
So the cool thing about the show, in my opinion, is that it's not car-centric. And it just kind of has its own, life. It comes alive between two people in this car. So I'm hoping everybody enjoys it. I hope you guys go watch it. So
it's really, really cool. And like I said, they just went up today, so you can check all of those out. And one of the co-hosts that I believe you had, I'm not sure if we have this person on here quite yet. I think we're getting that worked out right now. But one of them was Mr. John Oates.
Mr. John
Mr. John Oates.
Yes. Yeah.
The John Oates.
From Hall & Oates.
So how did this come about and we're going to be bringing John on here in just a second, live on this show. John Oates.
Yep.
Joining us here with Digital Trends, assuming the technology works out.
Yeah.
And then I've made a promise it's not going to happen. But I believe we're getting that worked out right now. So how did it come about that you met John and John became a part of this?
Well, BJ emailed and was like, hey, what do you think of being on the air with John Oates? And I literally responded with, you mean John Oates, like Hall & Oates?
Like
and he was
John
like,
Oates?
yeah. And I was like, yeah, had no idea that he was a car guy, first of all.
Yeah.
Obviously, due to my age, I grew up with their music.
Right.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And so
I listened to a lot of Hall & Oates just last summer alone. I mean, it's like it's good summer music.
It is. And so I was pleasantly surprised. And he was another one of the episodes where obviously I've never met John Oates before. And so we were just both, tossed into this ring and, go. And we had an amazing time. He's a great car guy. He's a phenomenal human. We had really great conversation. And then we learned that we actually had some mutual connections in the Porsche world.
No kidding.
Yeah, and so
How
he
random.
actually, and hopefully we can get him on here so we can talk about it, but he actually had probably one of the most beautiful vehicles, just was hand-built for him, and he just took delivery of it. Sadly, just after the episode, so we didn't really get to do too much on that. But hopefully we can get some imagery of that car as well that was built.
That's great.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I think so. off air, we're working on this right now.
Yeah.
Are we just checking with my production booth here? Are we good to go? Can John hear us?
I'm good to go if you guys are.
John can hear us. All right. Everybody watching right now, this is DT Daily. Thank you so much for tuning in, live here every day. And we are joined right now by not only Tim Walbridge, but also John Oates. John Oates from Hall & Oates, and of course, maybe even more famous, the new Digital Trends series, Behind the Wheel. John, thank you so much for hopping on here with us today.
Yeah, man, I'm glad we could work this out. I'm not too swift when it comes to this modern digital technology, but somehow it worked, so I'm very happy.
Well, you got it. You nailed it. I mean, it's working out great. Hey, John, where are you at right now? Are you on the road or at home?
No. I'm believe it or not, I'm off the road. I'm in Nashville at home, and had an amazing night last night. Played with Bob Weir and his new band Wolf Brothers at the Ryman Theater.
Wow.
Got a chance to jam with those guys, and that was really cool. Bob is an amazing guy. And hello.
Oh yeah, no, we're good. Sorry, we're talking behind the scenes. You're good.
Are you guys just getting close to each other because you like each other that much? Or?
Yes, because we're so excited we had to get close. No, we're fixing a sound issue. Tim's having trouble hearing you, but I can hear you. So he's talking about he just played with Bob Weir last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, on the road.
So that just happened last night, but basically I'm off, and believe it or not, my new Emery 356 is in a trailer on its way to Nashville as we speak.
Wow. So this is the one that we were just talking about.
This is
the car that you've been waiting for. So tell me about, how did it come about that you got this new car?
Well, I started reading about Porsche's 70th anniversary. I started to realize, well, I didn't start to realize, but I realized that my birthday coincides with the Porsche's 70th birthday. And I said, I think I deserve a very special gift for myself.
Yeah.
I have custom made guitars, and I got a few custom made suits that I never wear. But and I said, you know what? How about a custom made car? And I did some research, found Rod Emery, and realized he was the man. And I went to visit him in North Hollywood, where his amazing shop is. And I saw his workmanship, and I saw his passion for the cars that he builds. And I said, man, this is something very special. And I embarked on a 2-year car building journey with Rod Emery. And it's just literally been finished a month or so ago, and was at Rennsport, almost about 90%. And then it was at the Porsche Experience in Atlanta about a week or so ago for the big event they had there. And it's finished now, and it's on its way to Nashville.
That is so 2 years. It took 2 years to build the car.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I first met Rod, like I'm sure a lot of his clients, they say, how long is this thing going to take? and Rod put his hand on my shoulder and said, be patient. Yeah. It's going to take 1.5 years to 2 years, and he was right on the money. I mean, it's literally will be 2 years in November 15th, so we're very close to that. And he had to find a car for me first, which he did actually cut quite quickly. And it's been a great experience going out to visit him, in the process of building this car and collaborating with him on it.
So for building a custom car, and I'm sure, Tim, you probably have lots of questions, I'm sure, but I'm just curious, like that process of doing it, like what kind of things are you customizing? Are you going through every single detail and like customizing it, like this is what I want in it, or this is how I want it to look?
Well, Rod has something that he does. His basic concept is he takes the 356, what he calls a donor car, a car that might not be so significant, in terms of if it's classic, value. Mm-hmm. Something maybe that's, in my case, the car had been run into a tree, and the front was completely crushed. So, it was a car that, we could take and turn it into something else. And that's how the process started. Every car is a little bit different. Every story is different. But in my case, as we began to realize that the car needed some, serious cosmetic and body work, I started thinking, well, if we're going this route, there's nothing to stop us. There's no template for this. And I started coming up with the idea of let's take what I consider to be the best characteristics of the Porsche 356 from the time it was built in the early 1950s till the time the series ended in the early around 1963, before the 911 was introduced. So I said, well, let's just take the best of the best. Let's find the best elements of this entire 13 or 14 year 356 run, and let's apply them to this car. And so that's what we began to do.
Wow.
Yeah, the car has the has a 356A front end.
Right.
It's got the Cabrio hardtop, which is already rare in its own right, and then Rod actually chopped that and laid that back to make it just look seamless. And that's what Rod is absolutely brilliant with, is that he's a visionary, and the metal workers and the staff that he has on board down there are just absolutely second to none. And so what he's created for John is just so bespoke and so amazingly over the top. So.
Yeah, he actually laid back headlights as well, even on the A nose that was grafted onto the B cabriolet body.
Yeah.
He laid the headlights back, so it's got a much more streamlined, rakish thing to it. He, in addition to chopping the top, as you said, Tim, he actually had to lay back the A pillar, the windshield pillar, which he did as well. So the whole thing is much sleeker and has this kind of almost speedster quality, but it's a roadster, but it's a cabriolet. And it almost looks like a coupe from certain angles. So there's really a lot of very, very subtle but very, very beautifully crafted bodywork. And then, of course, the interior is yet another aspect of it. It's got speedster seats with Italian leather and, I mean, a roll bar that's removable. There's just so, I mean, we could go on forever on this thing.
Can you speak about the motor a little bit? Because Rod is really, really good at, again, like we've talked about before, of making this monster out of all these pieces of different things that we love. The motor and transmission in this is completely unique as well too. Can you speak on that real quick?
Yeah, the motor is actually built right down the street
Rothsport.
from you.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, Jeff.
Right out in Oregon. Rothsport Racing, and basically the motor. Back in the days, it started with what a lot of Porsche modifiers used as a polo motor. And in the old days, they used to take a 964 flat six, take the two middle cylinders out, weld the crankcase back together, and it became a flat four, but with modern architecture, overhead cam, twin spark ignition, electric ignition. Now Rod's crankcases are actually cast. He has his own bespoke engines built.
Yes.
But it's still basically, I mean, if you really want to make it simplistic, it's a 964 architecture, but it's a flat four instead of a flat six.
Right.
And that's made it to a 901 transmission. I had the choice between a 5 and a 4-speed. It was Rod's suggestion that I go with the 4-speed because the engine has so much torque that you really don't need those extra gears. It's got 205 horse. It's got about 180 or 190 foot-pounds of torque.
Yep.
And that's put into a car that originally had 60 horsepower.
Correct. Yeah, and weighs nothing.
It weighs about 18
weighs nothing.
pounds. So as you can imagine, it's definitely got the grunt, and it's got it's got that feel of it's almost like having a 911 in the rear engine. It's got 911 rear suspension, disc brakes, which are also one of Rod's designs. So it's really a pretty amazing package when you come down to it.
Hey, John, I'm curious, obviously you know your cars. When did you first start getting interested in them? Was it as a kid? Was it later on in life?
Yeah, there was a number of things that got me into cars. I lived in a small town in Pennsylvania that had a dirt track called Hatfield Speedway, which was only a few miles away. And one of my best friend's father ran the hot dog concession at Hatfield Speedway. And so on Saturday nights, under the lights, we would sneak in under the fence and we'd hang out. I saw Mario Andretti and his brother Aldo Andretti, racing midgets and jalopies back in those days. And that kind of got me into it. And then I found these road and track magazines. Someone had thrown a cardboard box full of old road and tracks away in my little town. And I found them, I brought them home. And I started reading about all the European road racing and things like that. And these great names, Targa Florio and, Fangio and Sterling Moss and all that. And it just kind of got to me. And ever since I could, as soon as I could drive, I started being into cars and eventually started racing go-karts and SCCA and on from there. So
I think that's really
awesome.
Interesting. It was the track, that really got you into seeing the people race.
And that's why you fell in love with the GT3 RS that we actually had on the episode.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
GT3 RS you let me drive was a real thrill. I said on your video that was without a doubt my best day off on tour in my entire life.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
Nice.
and that's what we were just discussing before, is we were talking about each of the different episodes and how they take on their own life. And I really appreciated that, you and I have never met before. And, they just threw us both into this ring, and we had such a great day and so much fun. And you were so complimentary to how much, how much fun you did have. So.
Yep. And I got to drive that little Alpha 4C2, which was
That's right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So,
And then we took you for a rip in the McLaren.
riding with you in the McLaren.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the whole thing, it was a good day. I
Yeah.
have to admit, in the 70s, 80s, I probably had a different kind of excitement on my off days.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have no doubt. We can save that. We can save that for a different episode.
Exactly.
That's the behind the scenes cut. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, you were a super trooper that day because you were not really feeling that well too. You've kind of been on a tour. Had been on a tour, and you weren't really feeling that good either. So you were an absolute trooper as well. So.
It was well worth it. That was my choice was staying in a hotel and ordering room service or driving cars with you. So without a doubt, I made the better decision.
All right.
Well, John, and thank you for joining us here today, too. I know that you've got to get on to some other things, and we want to play a clip of Behind the Wheel. But before we do that, just really quick, wanted to talk about your music, what you have coming out, where people can check out everything new.
Well, I came out with an album last January called Arkansas, which is a very rootsy and bluesy album of old-timey songs, stuff that probably you wouldn't associate with me if you know the Hall & Oates music. But it really harks back to my days before I met Daryl Hall, the kind of music that influenced me. I was a blues guitar player. So I'm very well into that. I've got an amazing solo band that I tour with. But me and Daryl, of course, still are on the road, and we just finished this incredible tour with Train and Candace Springs all around the country. And now we've just got 2 more shows, which we do next week back east. We're doing Atlantic City, the new Hard Rock Casino, and then going up to Foxwood up in Connecticut for 2 final shows for 2018. And then when 19 rolls around, I'm going to try to carve out some time to enjoy my car.
Yes.
But in between, we'll be doing a lot more shows. So there's lots of good stuff happening.
That's great. Well, John, thank you so much for hopping on with us today. I know you got to get on to your other things. We're going to play that clip, and then Tim and I think, let's talk for a little bit after that,
Sure.
too.
Sounds good. Nice to see you, John.
Share that link, Tim, because I said that's one of my favorite things. I told all my friends and my PR folks, I said just share the heck out of that thing because
that's
it's
awesome.
a very well done piece, man.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Let's do it again.
Hey, what we should do is we should come out and drive that 356 on some Nashville roads.
Hey, you can come out, but you can't drive it.
Damn it.
Nice try.
I got an empty right seat for you, though, man.
I'll take it. I'll take it all day long.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, John, thank you so much. Thanks for hopping on with us. Let's go ahead and play a clip from Behind the Wheel so you can see the entire thing at digitaltrends.com. But let's play just a little bit of a taste for it.
What's your favorite modern car that you've driven so far?
I'd say the GT3 at the track, because I drove the GT3, I drove a Corvette Z06, and a Nissan GTR, back to back. And honestly, the GT3 just slayed everything. It's a hero car. It just makes you're just able to drive it really quick right out of the box. And I've never driven the RS, but I can already tell it's more hard-edged.
You know the good thing about the GT3 is for the value, it's probably the best track weapon you can buy right now because Porsche put the 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty on them, because of all the motor problems they had.
Incredible.
Yeah, you can pick that car up for 140,
I did drive the Turbo S at the Porsche Experience in Atlanta, and I have to say, if you just wanted a car that absolutely did everything,
agreed.
It would be really hard to beat that car. That car, it's like the silent assassin. That thing is just amazing.
Put you in PDK. You can have a little bit of fun there. Now it's time to feel it. Feel that difference? Once it clicks in there, man, it's a totally different car.
It's funny. I very rarely use the shifters anymore. The damn PDK is so good.
Yeah, that's the big argument is, are you a 3-pedal guy or are you a PDK guy? And I'm not PDK. I don't want the car doing the work for me. But damn, it's fun.
Once you realize how good it is.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me at Coda. I was driving it and I was shifting and doing all this stuff, and the guy was with me. He said, let George do it. He said, see what happens. And man, I got quicker and quicker and quicker.
Yeah.
Back here with DT Daily. That looks like so much fun.
It was a good time. It was a great day. Yeah.
And the entire series is up now at Digital Trends. You can watch that one. I know you've got some others. I think Martell Webster.
We've got, great friend, family member Martell Webster. We did a couple episodes with him, and he's a hoot. We have a great. I just said a hoot. He's a hoot.
You did.
He's funny as hell. We had a great time, and then actually my right-hand man and best friend Ian and I are in. What's known as probably one of my favorite cars, which is Rusty, which is a 65 Volkswagen Beetle. And then we're with Luke Spiller from the Struts, which is this British rock band. And in a, what are we in, a 48 Ford? 51 Ford. We're in a Ford convertible. Yeah. So yes, there's a little something for everybody in there, and I think we're all just very interested to see how everyone takes it.
Well, that's great. Tim, thank you so much for hopping on today with us too, and obviously you can check that out at digitaltrends.com. But we have something else for you. We're not done yet today. We've got our New York studio, and we're going to be going live there because we've got Felicia, who I believe is going to be doing an unboxing of Hitman 2, and we've got Julian, who is going to be showing off the new iPad Pro. He actually has one in his hands. So that's the great thing about this. We've got our New York studio. Let's go live there. Hello, Julian and Felicia. Julian's doing his hair right now.
Hey everyone, my name is Felicia, obviously. I'm the gaming section editor here in New York, and I'm here with Julian, the mobile editor, and we're going to be doing a couple of product previews today. I actually got the Hitman 2 Collector's Edition, and I'm going to show that to you right now.
So this is for the new game that just came out, right?
Yeah, so Hitman 2 is coming out on November 13th, and they were so kind to send us the Collector's Edition. So this is it right here. It's like a steel gun case or something like that, which is in theme with.
I've only played one Hitman game before, and I guess for people who don't really know what Hitman is about, it's you're an assassin, a bald assassin specifically. He has a barcode on the back of his head. And he just goes around and you assassinate people.
Yeah,
right?
And it's like you have a whole bunch of gadgets at your disposal, and I guess that's the fun part, is that you get to choose how you want to assassinate people.
Sounds so dark.
Yeah, right. So what we have in here, we have the game for PS4. Let's see if I can get this out.
So when did this game come out?
It's coming out on November 13th.
Gotcha.
So we got it a little bit early. We are going to be reviewing this game, so if you're interested to see our thoughts on it, make sure you check Digital Trends.
And this collector's edition is sort of like a bonus thing that people can buy with it, I guess.
Exactly. I believe you can get this at GameStop. I did see them selling it. So if you're interested in getting this sweet gun case and everything inside of it, make sure you check out GameStop. So this is the game, collector's edition, or gold edition, I think. I know, it feels pretty authentic, right? And it has this little box inside of it. Oh, wow. Okay. So, you can actually look like a legit assassin. It has these, like, I don't know.
Goggles?
Yeah,
I guess it's got earbuds too.
An earbud, so it's like, let's see how.
I didn't quite know he wore glasses, but those look.
I can't see out of them. There's probably a way to fix this. Actually, does.
Maybe they're smart glasses.
I think they turn on. Oh, wow. They do.
They probably play some kind of
Mind
video.
you guys, I know this is a little rough right now, but this is a legit unboxing. Like, we have not seen any of these inside. Wow.
What are you seeing? The
I
future.
see.
Tell me.
I see Elon Musk. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
It's showing a desktop, and you can like cycle through all the stuff in here. Wow, this is pretty cool, guys. I wish I could show you, but unfortunately, this is too small.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you definitely don't want to walk around outside with those because they look pretty nerdy.
Yeah, you would probably also hurt yourself. So you do get the cool goggles. Oh, they're video glasses. So we have a pamphlet here. The video glasses change your perspective.
Honestly, sounds something a little from the 90s.
Yeah,
It
a
also
little.
looks kind of something like from the 90s.
It does. So there's built-in memory and a menu mode. Still unsure of
What it exactly
what.
does.
Yeah, exactly. What does it do? You can play music. You can watch I guess there's the movie on there that you can watch.
Huh.
Called, wow. Okay, so guys, you can actually watch movies with these. There is a like little SD slot that you can put in here.
So kind of
and-
like VR-esque glasses, but watching movies.
Exactly. You can put like media on here and enjoy it. So that's really cool, actually.
It would be
pretty
great to
neat.
see how that plays out. But
Exactly. Yeah, we should actually review them. See how it works, how well it works.
anything else in the box?
No, I think that was it. So
So after you take all of that out, basically you can use it as a very fancy storage compartment, maybe?
yeah.
Doesn't actually look like there's a lot of space in there.
No, it's just like
You
the
can't
foam.
even take out the
I
foam out,
mean,
maybe? I don't know.
You could probably take the foam out and use it,
That's true.
but
yeah.
that was it. But these
There
are
is-
actually pretty cool.
There is a nice little, I assume that's the Hitman logo on the back
Yep.
right there, if you guys can check
Nice
that
little
out.
Hitman logo, and this thing feels pretty legit. Like it's heavy. Like it doesn't feel cheap at all. So yeah, if you guys, I think you can get this. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Hitman 2, I'm gonna rattle off some facts so you guys can know a little bit more about it. Hitman 2 is coming out November 13th, which I said earlier. There's gonna be new modes, specifically a sniper assassin mode and a ghost mode. The Sniper Assassin mode is a standalone mode, and it's a cooperative experience. So 2 players can work together to take down targets together. That's pretty cool. And then the Ghost mode is a 1v1 competitive multiplayer mode. So I guess with that, you guys have to take each other down. And yeah, so if you guys are interested, make sure to check Digital Trends for our review because we're going to be reviewing this. And I know Julian has something that he wanted to share as well.
Sure. Well, we talked about the iPad Pro a little yesterday on the show, and today we actually have one. It's coming out, and sorry, this isn't going to be a real unboxing like Felicia was. I've already had a chance to take this out of the box and play around with it already. So iPad Pro is coming out officially tomorrow. This is the 12.9-inch version, and it has a terabyte of storage. So this model probably runs you more than $1,500, maybe close to $2,000. Basically, the cream of the crop of the new iPad Pro range. There's also a 11-inch model that you can get if you want something slightly smaller. But Apple is positioning this as a computer, and all the comparisons on their site at the event, they were like, oh, it can do this like a computer, it can do that like a computer, it can even play Xbox level graphics, you know, not that there are like Xbox level
gonna have to see
games.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'd like to see Hitman 2 on this thing, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But so you have the smart keyboard, which is slightly redesigned because Apple has repositioned the smart connector. It used to be on the bottom, now it's on the back, and they said that's just sort of like to help with the design and give you more ways to connect this thing. So now you have 2 angles. You can do it this way, or you can do something a little more upright this way, which is pretty nice. But the real cool thing with the pencil, if separated, pencil now is like this matte design. It's actually quite nice. It feels really cool, and you can now magnetically snap it to the iPad Pro. So before you just kind of had to like let it like, you know, be around and people would lose it all the time, and you had to charge it by taking off the cap and plugging it into here, which was just this really strange
Is there some
work
weight
around.
to it?
Yeah, you can feel free to play
Oh
around
wow,
with it.
yeah,
It
that feels like a real pen.
Yeah, it feels like a pencil because it also has that matte texture that pencils also kind of
Yeah.
do. And there's some new tricks like you can. Let me see if this is turned on. Oh, no, not turned on, but let me turn that on. And basically, there's some new tricks like you can double tap the pencil to swap between pencil and eraser, for example. So if I'm taking a note and I quickly double tap, I can just go back to erasing something. And there's customizability there, so you can works with third-party apps and all sort of things like that. But basically, this new iPad Pro coming out tomorrow. It's going to cost you starting at $1,000 for this size version, $800, I believe, for the smaller one. There is Face ID, was the big differentiator here over last year's model. The bezels are all slimmer around, so there's no space for a home button. So you have Face ID. So me just tapping on this and looking at it will not unlock it because I just turned it on for the first time, so that needs basically. But essentially, if you can see right here, kind of hard to see, but it unlocked it already, and I just swipe up to go straight to the home screen. And other than that, it's a very powerful iPad Pro. Definitely can do a lot of tasks you would typically want on your computer, but you can do so much more because there's touch capabilities, Apple Pencil capabilities, and overall something that we'll be exploring to see if it can actually completely replace your laptop or not.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, that's it for us here. We're going to throw it back to Greg back in Portland. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks.
Julian and Felicia, thank you so much. What an action-packed episode we have had today here for DT Daily. We started off, of course, with Dan Gall in here, talking about the headlines. Dan is always awesome on the air. We will definitely try to get him back in here. Then we had Tim Walbridge come in from 503 Motoring and to talk about everything that's going on with him. And sorry, I'm still a little bit thrown off. We had John Oates of Hall & Oates, hopped on this episode of DT Daily. And that's the one thing that's really fun about DT Daily, not only for myself, but just for broadcasting this show for everybody watching. You never know what's going to happen. And we're here every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you all of the tech headlines, bringing you all kinds of other things that go on with this. And we've got so much that we really enjoy doing with this because we're live. We're live on Periscope. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. We're live on Facebook. We can take your comments, your questions, whatever you want to talk about. And of course, everything that we talked about today is at digitaltrends.com as well. So there's just a lot here, and we really do appreciate all of you joining us. We've got more coming up for you all week long that we'll be talking about. But I think for today, that's probably about it. I do want to say, go to, like I said, go to digitaltrends.com. Check out all of our articles on there. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. And we will be back tomorrow with some more DT Daily. I think, unless we're still broadcasting right now, and then I'm going to keep on talking. And I'm done.